Games are fun, but did you know that they can also corrupt your soul? This book will tell you all about it. Welcome to Mike's Gaming Gala. I'm Mike, and this week we have something a little bit different. Today we're not looking at a game, but rather a book full of them. Controversy, Downright Despicable Games is the newest book from Michael Thomasson and is currently available at gooddealgames.com. This monster of a book clocks in at 312 full-color pages and chronicles the worst of the history of video games. Some of the stuff in here is so controversial that it wouldn't be appropriate for me to even flip through the pages on camera. But let's take a curated look at what you can expect if you pick this one up. Alright, so we've got the book here, and as you can see, I've got some bookmarks there of pages that I can actually show you in this video because this is not a PG book. There is nudity, there is some offensive material in here, potentially, but Michael Thomasson says don't shoot the messenger. He is just bringing these stories to life. Video games that triggered rants, rage, dissent, and a whole lot of hullabaloo. The artwork on the cover is really cool, I like it. And on the back here, you can see we've got censored. And if we look right here, this is my favorite part of the book, right here. This is a quote from me. "This book is awful, awfully good that is. Never before have the sordid and juicy details of some of the most appalling video games been researched and reported in such detail." So this game is by Michael Thomasson, and Michael Thomasson obviously runs Good Deal Games and Homebrew Heaven. So why don't we have a quick look inside and see what you can expect. There are 312 color pages, and if you order from gooddealgames.com, Michael will sign it for you. But if we go here to my first bookmark, this is a famous one, Death Race. So Death Race came out in 1976. I did a review of a intellivision port of this, and my whole intro was about, okay, we want press, but does it have to be good press? And of course, Death Race really benefited from the bad press that it got. It's considered the first violent video game where you're actually driving around running people over. Moving to my next bookmark here. You see the game Mugger. Now, I had never heard of Mugger before, and that is because this game is lost to time. It never got out of the prototype phase. But as it tells you here, you walk through alleyways shooting possible muggers, earning points by killing the muggers before they kill you. You lose points if you accidentally kill an old lady or an innocent bystander. So in 1980, that would be really controversial. Berserk, you may be thinking, why is Berserk controversial? Well, I remember this story. Heart is blamed in death of video game patron. An 18-year-old playing Berserk at the arcade actually passed away. And there was a whole thing that followed it, as often does, of are video games to blame? And this details that story and others very well. As you can see, these are all nice color pages. Here we have from 1981, Soft Porn Adventure. It says what systems it was on. It was on the Apple II, the Atari 8-bit, DOS, other systems there. And, you know, what should I do? Look at Blonde, and she's wearing the tightest jeans. What should I do? Screw Blonde. She says, I'm working, leave me alone. And we can go here, and you see he's got articles. You know, do video games corrupt youth? That's from the New York Times, January 6, 1982. We got Streaker, aka Stripper. I had never heard of this game, but it's a rare maze game and considered the first X-rated coin-operated title. So in the game, your nude striptease dancer attempts to outrun police squad while the player attempts to aid her by giving her clothes back. Just, you know, all these different stories that I had never heard of. I consider myself to be pretty knowledgeable about the history of video games. And this book is full of games that I had never heard of. Such as this one from 1983, Seduction of Condominium Wives. Like, I don't even get how that would be a thing, but obviously it was. And it was very controversial at the time, and still it would be. If you're going around a condominium, you've got player commands such as in, out, hello, knock, open, take, pay, sell, and the ever-fitting F. I think we all know what F stands for. Here's a game that I absolutely adored on the PC, Wolfenstein 3D. It should not be any surprise why this one was considered very controversial at the time, and very controversial, especially in Germany. If you played this game in Germany, it was not Nazi themed. They made all of this very generic in the German release of Wolfenstein 3D. And it even goes on to, you know, a kinder, gentler Wolfenstein. Wizard Tree released Super 3D Noah's Ark, a bootleg third-party Super Nintendo game based on Wolfenstein 3D. And it has a little details like this, like during episode 3, the audio track plays some peculiar beeps and bips that were in the background. These aren't random, but they're actually Morse code, and he tells you what the Morse code was there. Night Trap, obviously a very controversial game at the time, even resulted in Senate hearings. So Senator Byron Dorgan, it's child abuse, it's a sick, disgusting video game, it's an effort to trap and kill women, they've gone too far. I'm trying to get to my bookmarks because I know they're safe pages to show. Doom was controversial. Here we go. Phantasmagoria. This game involves, it says here, the game starts off innocent enough, refraining from any real questionable content until Chapter 4. While poking around the old home, Adrian discovers a hidden chapel and inadvertently releases an ancient evil that possesses her husband, who promptly essays her, and for the rest of the game tries to murder her. SA, by the way, is YouTube code to not get demonetized, so you can look up what SA means if you don't know what that means. But it ain't good. Soldier of Fortune. I remember when this came out in 2000. Again, another game I absolutely loved. You could use the Desert Eagle to blow people's heads off. I remember this being banned in a lot of places, as in they wouldn't sell it. Loved this game. My friends and I played this, and it was just one of those things where, you know, we were in the we had just started college and we're adults now, so we can go and buy these really violent games, and at the time this was an excessively violent game. Postal 2. I love Postal 2. Whenever I was having a bad day at work, you come back and you play Postal 2. Very controversial game. Incredibly controversial. For those who don't know, you could kill somebody, chop them up, and then urinate on their corpse if you wanted to. Really depraved. But hey, That's why it's in this book. Oh, I'm glad that page that I accidentally flipped to did not have any questionable content. I remember this one specifically. I was working in news at the time that this came out, and we did a whole story on this, JFK Reloaded. And I remember that they were trying to justify this game as, well, let's see if anybody can do it. Maybe it'll help point out that either it was possible that it was a lone gunman or not, but really it was kind of a morbid curiosity. You know, can I shoot Kennedy? Very controversial game at the time. Manhunt 2. But let's skip here. This one surprised the heck out of me. I had never even heard of this game, and it sounds absolutely abhorrent. And that's coming from a guy who really enjoyed Postal 2. Playing History 2, Slave Trade. Absolutely disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. And just, yeah, I mean, brutal. And you get these little sections here, special report, and it's a whole pile of news articles. Gaming is as addictive as heroin, etc., etc. Let's go to my last bookmark here. I cannot flip to the next page, but I wanted to show this because, again, this is a game that I had never heard of. It's called Sex with Hitler. And the Fuhrer then launches into a dark monologue saying, "To feel no love is the greatest gift. It makes you untouchable. You will never experience the worst of pains if you feel no love for anyone." And yet, the next page is incredibly graphic. Again, you do not show this to your children. But as far as a piece of history, as far as a documentation of history, man, I love this book. And there is so much in it. I've read majority of this book. I read a lot of it before it was released, obviously, because I made some comments about it. But yeah, I've gone through this book. This isn't just the kind of book that you would get to put on your coffee table and flip through every once in a while. This is the type of book that you're going to want to read every article because it is absolutely fascinating. Even the ones, even the stories that you already know, there is new material in here that you probably didn't know that adds to it. And it's been incredibly researched and wonderfully reported. I really like this book. So let's go to, I mean, you already know what I think. I'm not going to say what did I think, but let's go to a wrap up on this. And that is Controversy, Downright Despicable Games from Michael Thomasson. I love it, and if you have any interest in the seedy and sordid history of video games, I am positive that you will as well. This is not a PG-rated book. There are entries in here that contain nudity and deal with some pretty offensive material. That's what I really like about it though. It doesn't hold back and is an honest look at a side of gaming that can often be overlooked. Most of us know about some of the more popular controversies, Custer's Revenge, Mortal Kombat, but I was surprised at how many of the entries I had no idea about, making it a fascinating read. Even better, if you order it from Good Deal Games, Michael will autograph your copy for free should you want him to. A great read and highly recommended. Thank you for watching my video, I hope you liked it, and thank you to my channel members. I appreciate your support so much. As always, my contact info is in the description, and we'll see you next time on Mike's Gaming Gala.